From the Apubco Studios at Britain and Broadway, you're listening to a News OK podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the News OK Comics podcast. I'm Matt Price. I'm here with Kyle Roberts. It was a giant week of comics this week, Kyle. Really, you can go to the comic book store. There are comics based on John McCain and Barack Obama that came out this week from IDW. Right. There's an adaptation of Ender's Game, with the best-selling novel by Orson Scott Card. Something I just wanted to mention real quick before we get into it is this book called Pulp Tales. This is a benefit book for Josh Metters, the artist. He's facing cancer, and this book is raising money for his cancer fight. We're going to talk about 4 comics today, and it's a pretty big week. We're going to start off with the finale of the Brainiac arc in Action Comics by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. I think if you're looking for how you can make Brainiac relevant, if you're looking for how you can make a Brainiac movie, even as I've heard other people say, this arc gives you kind of a blueprint to do so. Great use of Supergirl in this arc. Superman looks good. Gary Frank's art is tremendous. There is a major character death in this issue. I'm not going to spoil it specifically, but I will say, overall, I prefer the Superman mythos with this character than without this character. However, I think if you're just judging the arc as a whole, Jeff Johns has done a great arc on Action Comics, and really, the whole time he's been on the book has been very good, and really makes Brainiac a threat to be reckoned with in the future. So that's what I think on Action Comics. We'll move over to Marvel, and Kyle, tell me about Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool 3. Skrulls still back at it.
Mm-hmm. Still tying into Secret Invasion.
Yeah. Basically, in this comic, Deadpool's just fighting this Super Skrull that's kind of like a mix between Iceman and Human Torch.
Right, so when he puts his hands together, I don't know.
what happens? And obviously Deadpool says a bunch of one-liner puns about staying cool to him.
Right.
Ice. And it's Deadpool. I mean, if you like Deadpool, I think you're going to like this comic. If not...
You're saying in a particular part of Deadpool's history plays into the resolution of this comic as well. So long-time fans... You'll find a little secret nugget of information there, I guess.
There you go.
All right, third, let's talk about Dragon Prince from Top Cow, Ron Mars, Lee Moder. This is their fantasy series about a young boy who finds he's the heir to the last dragons.
It kind of starts off like almost a Spider-Man, like kid gets picked on in school.
Yeah. As the second issue begins, he and his mom are going on the run because the dragon hunter is aware of him now that he's turned into a dragon, and they're just kind of on the run. You've got the main character behaving very much like a kid would, not taking everything seriously, saying, hey, can I go to my room and get my stuff? Not understanding why he can't, go get a Coke, even though they're supposedly on the run from this guy. So very, I think, true-to-life characterization of this character, even though he does turn into a dragon, which doesn't happen to most of us. Although all of us do face some adolescent changes, we just don't all breathe fire. So, again, very good fantasy stuff. I enjoy the art a lot. This is one that I hope people who are looking for a new fantasy epic to check into are taking a look at.
Sweet. All right. X-Men Original Sin, #1. This basically is a Wolverine tale. It kind of starts with him talking about the first time, or essentially the first time he meets the X-Men. It kind of becomes involved with the X-Men. It has a very kind of, I don't want to give away too much, it's on the very first page, but it has a very kind of...
a classic shot.
Classic scene that they redid.
And there's a backup story from Classic X-Men.
On the back of it.
#1 by Chris Claremont and John Bolton. I always like John Bolton's art, and it's good to see some of that coming back in. Those reprints aren't, I think, real handy, not real reprinted real heavily, so it's a nice place to put one. So.
And that part was cool about this is that as Wolverine's talking about some of the first times he was with the X-Men, they have this there, so you can kind of actually see how it first began.
All right, very good. So some pretty big comics. Did you have a favorite?
I'll go with Deadpool.
All right. I'll say Action Comics for me, but both the ones that I focused on this week I enjoyed a great deal. So for Kyle Roberts, I am Matt Price, and thanks for watching.